Okay, one last video for the syllabi series, which I hope doesn't become a regular series, but nonetheless. The assignments for Speech 1321. So this is a business and professional communication course, more or less. So I have taken the standard public speaking assignments and really elevated them so that they're more appropriate for a professional audience. I've got reading quizzes throughout this particular course. There are 12 chapters, so I've divided those up, moved them earlier in the semester, and then as I plan to do with the public speaking course, we'll review those chapters in preparation for the final exam at the end. In terms of speeches, there are three major ones that we've got, beginning with an informative speech that I've called a trendy informative briefing. And I'm checking on my pork that I braised on the stove and put in the oven. I hope we don't set off any fire alarms. It's called trendy because I want them to identify a significant trend that's facing business, culture, the financial sector, agriculture, whatever. A significant trend that is going on right now, and then explain to an imaginary professional audience that they get to say, this is who the audience is. Break that trend down for them. So for example, the anti-LGBT legislation that's going on in North Carolina right now, there's a lot of pushback and fallout from what's going on. So what do business leaders here in North Texas need to understand about what's happening in some of these other parts of the country? That would be a wonderful, trendy, informative briefing. So it's a briefing to a professional audience to create understanding about a significant trend. There's also a policy speech, and that just, of course, explains the way that things should be. And so they'll want to dig deeply into a particular issue, again, identify an imaginary professional audience, and then explain their policy position to try to persuade them to their way of thinking. Finally, there's a sales pitch. It could be a product or it could be a service. And in the syllabus, I've listed suggestions for all of these public speaking assignments. So it should be a cool course overall that has a lot of connections to our community. And speaking of connections to our community, that's another reason why I would love to have students on LinkedIn, is that I think we can help them join a conversation about what's going on in Fort Worth at the professional level. I also would love to feature some of the best student speeches throughout the semester on video. Maybe they do a great job on a trendy informational briefing. And so what I do is I interview that student. How do they go about researching the speech? How do they put together their outline? How do they prepare to actually give that speech, etc.? And let's just say I collected just 2 of these speeches for each course that I taught. Over the course of a year, that's 20. In 10 years, that's like 200. We could have a wonderful repository of outstanding student work that's not just on supplemental materials of some textbook. It's TCC South students